Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Palm Springs Unified School District Board of Education meeting. Today is September 14th, 2021. And let's open the meeting with a roll call, please.
President Wood,
Here.
Member Cornett,
Here.
Member Espericueta,
Here.
Member Girardi,
Here.
and Member Jarrell is absent.
Thank you. Next, the Pledge of Allegiance, and Board Member Cornett.
Please stand. Ready to begin?
Thank you. Next is the mission statement, and our board member Espericueta is going to read that for us tonight.
Thank you, President. All members of Palm Springs Unified School District are uniting in our commitment to equity. We create deep, meaningful learning opportunities, build professionalism, and engage parents and community to ensure success for all students. All students graduate with the skills, capacities, and confidence needed to succeed in a rapidly changing world.
Thank you. Next, we're going to observe a moment of silence for the following individuals. Maria de la Fuente, paraprofessional aide at Desert Learning Academy. Gerald Manning, head custodian at Desert Hot Springs High School. And Lorraine Hewitt, retired teacher from Vista Del Monte Elementary School. Thank you. All right, next is a report of closed session actions. And our acting clerk, Cornett, are there any items to report?
There's nothing to report out.
Thank you. All right, the approval of the agenda. Could I get a motion to approve, please?
I'll move.
Thank you. In a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, next are public comments. All comments are to be directed to the board and be under 3 minutes and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. Board members do not respond during those public comments. Let's start with email comments. Are there any email comments?
We received one email comment which has been distributed to the Board of Education earlier electronically today and will be included as part of the record.
Thank you. And do we have any telephonic comments?
We do not have any telephonic comments tonight.
Okay, thank you. And do we have any, we do have members of the public who wish to address the Board of Education. Tonight we start with Veronica Munoz. Ms. Munoz, are you here? There you are. And if you take the podium, please. And you're going to be given 3 minutes, and then you'll get a warning at about 30 seconds too. Thanks.
Hi, thank you. I'd first like to share that I'm really happy that the first LCAP Community Advisory Forum took place last Tuesday. From what I understand, there are tens of millions of dollars of additional funding coming in the third round of ESSER funds. And while I'm glad to see this money continuing to serve our school communities, I am a little bit worried about the district's ability to meaningfully engage all stakeholders to develop an equitable expenditure plan. From what I understand, the calendar dates have not yet been set in place for the school year's LCAP meetings. And I know at the last board meeting, engagement was spoken about and it was a little bit of a challenge. So while we are waiting for a state and federal funds director, I'd like you to know that there are stakeholders still eagerly awaiting some transparency and communication on how to move forward collaboratively on such large expenditure plans to ensure that funding is student-centered. And while we are waiting for a comprehensive plan on LCAP and ESSER 3 collaboration, I'd also like to invite us to consider the challenge of engagement, which I'm sure you all are already aware of. This could be a time to think creatively beyond digital flyers and start inquiring, start having conversations, making phone calls. What are the needs of our families when it comes to support and resources? Are our resources coming largely from their input, or are we making general assumptions about what their needs are and aren't? What are the challenges that families are facing when it comes to engagement with the district? What do they need in order to feel like they can and should collaborate? And how can we shift our model of decision-making to be a little bit more inclusive of working with families instead of for families when it comes to big expenditures and policies? These are just the types of questions that I'm having in my organizing and professional circles, so I bring them here to you today so that we may consider them together and start thinking a little bit more creatively about why and how we engage with our families. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Karen Johnson.
It was wet. Good evening. Our district works diligently to do what is best for our students. I have found that to be evident in every facet of Palm Springs Unified. Nutrition services, transportation, M&O, our administrations, and a myriad of other groups that I don't have time to mention today. Our special ed teachers are teachers first and foremost. They plan robust lessons differentiated for their 24 or so students. They create assessments, grade work, basically do everything we know that a good classroom teacher does. Planning and preparing takes time. Secondly, they are case managers. They have to test students for triennials, takes about 2.5 hours each, score those tests by hand, write reports on the assessments, draft the educational plans, schedule IEPs, find people to attend the IEP meetings, run the IEP meetings, the triennials, and collect signatures from everybody who was in attendance, and finalize those documents. All of that for the same 24 or so students that they have. Case management takes time. They attend staff meetings, department meetings, special ed meetings, PDs. They meet buses before school to pick up students, bring students to the buses after school, and still do their extra duties as assigned. All of this takes time. They've recently been told they need to keep their service tracker updated for their students. Where's the time to get this done? Many of our teachers who provide special ed services are now co-teaching. Personally, I am a huge fan of co-teaching. I enjoyed it when I was a special ed teacher. I enjoyed it as a gen ed teacher. But because they are pushing into classes, in some cases for 5 periods of day, they're being told they need to use their prep time to do their testing. The same prep time that they use to plan their instruction, the same time they use to plan with their co-teachers so that they can get those lessons done. The same time that they need to use to write their IEPs, document services, contact parents, write reports, grade papers, and update grade books in Synergy. The same prep time they're being told to use to update Service Tracker. With so many annual and triennial meetings that are still needing to be held after school, our teachers who provide special ed services are usually not able to tutor or attend other paid PDs after school. These opportunities for earning additional income are lost to them. Our teachers who provide special ed services are floundering. It's up to us as a team to make sure they don't drown. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Lex Ortega.
Buenos Buenos tardes, good evening to the board. My name is Lex Ortega. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a Palm Springs resident, community member, and interested in education, advocacy, and policy. I want to thank the board and particularly staff, Ruby Rivera, for helping coordinate the first LCAP Community Advisory Group. We've seen in other districts that community advisory, in addition to parent-focused groups, are important to get a wide range of opinions, perspectives, thoughts, ideas, concerns regarding what's happening in our schools, because they are part of our communities. So would love to continue to see that moving forward. I reiterate Veronica's comments about engagement and continuing to uplift that space. There are those of us in the desert who are alumni and are very invested in what the folks who come after us, what their school education experience looks like. Also want to share some comments about the ESSER 3 funding that you all have and will decide on a plan that will come from recommendations for staff. Considering that September is National Suicide Awareness Month and you all will be, I think, have our proclamation for this month, I really want to encourage the board to prioritize mental health needs for students. As we know, the last 19 months have been incredibly difficult for some of us, way more than others, depending on our individual circumstances. And so whatever the district can do to support the mental health needs of students as they come back to campus, as they try to reacclimate from just 19 years of a lot of disruption, 19 months, excuse me, of a lot of disruption. I also want to just shout out staff for continuing to support efforts related to equity and inclusion related to LGBTQ students in particular, and of course our Black and Brown and Indigenous students. So definitely have an eye on this work. There are lots of people in this community who care about this, who might not be able to show up tonight, and appreciate the work that you all are doing to keep our students safe, to make them feel supported, and to make sure that the next generation is one that we can all be proud of. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And thank you all for your comments. We appreciate them. Okay, let's move on to board member comments. Who would like to go first tonight?
Hi. I want to give one brief report. In the September 8th, I attended to a Zoom meeting, the Superintendent Parents Advisory Committee. I attended with Superintendent Dr. Suisi, with board member Girardi, that give a very complete report to the members that are parents from different schools. So John Boyko was there, and parents representing their children from the whole schools around the school district, and representing the children's school. And most of the question and concern was about the COVID-19 safety in the actual situation, and how to support the children with distant learning, because that is happening a lot now, and how to improve, or the other topic, the conversation was how to improve or mitigate the traffic at the school during the student drop-off and pick up them. Dr. Suisse took notes, and he's working in that concerns. Also, in the next day, in the September 10th, I attended the All Valley Mayor and Tribal Chair Town Hall in the Fantasy Spring Resort Casino. That event was hosted by the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce. I attended with Dr. Murray, thank you. And two of the mayors of the Coachella Valley give a report what is happening in the city related to businesses, related to everything, but they include also the school or the education conversation or topic. And I think one of the information that I get that we had to work hard is how to improve the broadband, the broadband related, to high-speed internet that is one needed for everything, not only for businesses, but also for student course. And we know that we had a lot of money assigned by the federal government for this, and we are already working hard to get our part in the school district boundaries. And most of the mayors agreed we had to work together to make our children to have success. They mentioned a lot of information about the new college at the Desert campus in Palm Springs is moving forward that project. Also, another project in Cathedral City around the car dealership is another college at the Desert campus to have the vocational career for mechanics. They mentioned about the all improvement moving forward for the California State University in San Bernardino, the campus in Palm Desert, and I think that is what was good event to have a good relationship with the all mayor and the official or the agencies that to make the best impact for our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. I was going to talk about the Parent Advisory Council, but Sergio covered it pretty good, so we're good.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
I just have a few things. Thank you for the people who made public comments. They certainly are taken into consideration, and we all look forward to the plan for the ESSER III funds that will be coming shortly. And it is time for board members to get out into the community and to engage with different community groups and let them know what's going on in the district and how we can engage the community within the district. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And tonight, my comments are going to be somewhat similar to Board Member Cornett's. Over the last 4 meetings or so, we've had quite a few members of the public come in and do comments. And it's been really, as I reflect on those meetings, it's been incredible that our community is so engaged with the school district. And not everybody who comes in makes comments, and not everybody who gets involved have children in the district. And so it's really sort of a statement, I think, about who we are as a community and how we choose to spend our time, right? And it's really very heartwarming, quite frankly, to see people so engaged. And I would just encourage more of the same. We've heard tonight from people who are actively involved in how we do budgeting, and I think that's fantastic. Transparency has been something that's been sort of drilled into me since I first joined the district, and I really appreciate it. I think that's the right way to do it, and I think that's one of the hallmarks of what we do here. I also think that we would love to see more people involved. We do have organizations like the Parent Advisory Councils. We have the African American Parent Advisory Council. We have the Anti-Racism Coalition. We've got a number of different ways for people to be involved here. And I just encourage you to do more than just the commenting, but also get involved. Your opinion matters. Your thoughts and your input really does matter. And so we appreciate it. And so it's really thank you to the community tonight more than anything else. Okay, next is our superintendent report.
Great, thank you, President Wood. Just a few things in the superintendent's report this evening. I know that the board and community like to hear the public health update that we received from the Riverside County Department of Public Health. And I do have some good news to share tonight from Riverside County. Our current case rate is at 27.8. And the last time I came to you at this board meeting, I shared with you that it was at 35.2. So it is headed down in the right direction. Riverside County still does exceed the state case rate, and so that is an area of concern, but it's really good news that we're headed in the right direction. In Riverside County, only 52.6% of the population 12 years and older is fully vaccinated. So that's still an area of concern, to be at 53 or a little bit below 53%. We have continued to have some positive cases reported at some of our school sites, but our rates remain very low, and that active number of cases is dropping week by week, and so that is very encouraging for us here in the district as well. That public dashboard is available. It's on the front page of our website. One click and you get to the dashboard, and you can see those cases that are taking place at our schools with our staff and students. But again, those numbers are very low. We continue to offer connections for vaccination clinics and testing. So as I said at the last board meeting, all of our school sites offer testing 5 days a week to any staff or students. And then here also at the district office, we offer testing 5 days a week without an appointment for any staff member or any student family where there's a concern about potential exposure. So I encourage members of our school community to continue to take advantage of our really robust testing program here in Palm Springs. Public Health also wanted to remind us that we're approaching flu season, and so just want to encourage everybody to be thinking about getting vaccinated with the flu vaccine. That flu season here for us in Southern California is early October through April, and so that's something that we want people to be considering. We've also started our district vaccination verification, where we're asking all staff members to verify their vaccination status, and we will be providing regular weekly testing for people who do not provide that confirmation of their vaccination. So there will be testing available for everyone. We've also this last week had our district office staff meetings, which has been a wonderful opportunity to get to see the whole staff here at the district administration and the service center, and really to thank so many of the district heroes in our grounds crew, our skilled maintenance workers. We know that we had our HVAC team working on Rancho Mirage High School almost 20 hours a day to help keep that air conditioning going. And it was nice to be able to thank so many people across our organization for their hard work in keeping our schools open. Last week, I also was invited to meet with Congressman Raul Ruiz to discuss challenges that the district has faced after the pandemic, and he offered his support to the district, and that was a great meeting, and I'll look forward to meeting with him again. And then finally, Dr. Kovac and I have been out at school sites doing our school visits, and that's been wonderful to get to see so many amazing classified staff, teachers, and happy students at our schools all across the district. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, President Wood.
Thank you. All right. Next, we're going to do 11A. That's a public hearing of textbooks and instructional material compliance for fiscal year 2021-2022 OE10. The board now opens the public hearing regarding textbooks and instructional materials compliance for the fiscal year 2021-2022 as required by Government Code Section 60119. Have any written comments been received by the district as to the proposed resolution?
No written comments have been received.
Thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to provide oral comments for the proposed resolution? Okay. Since there's no oral comments, I'll declare the public hearing now closed. All right, board action items, 12A. Approval of certificated and classified employee transactions. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Signoret.
All right, thank you, President Wood. Thank you, Board. As you know, it's been a very busy month in HR lately. We've had quite a few management hires over the past month, but we're very excited to bring forward some outstanding recommendations this evening to the board. So first, I'd like to call up Mr. Brian Hendra. Mr. Hendra? You can come over here. That's okay. That's all right. That's right over here. It's fine. Well, it gives me great pleasure to recommend this evening Mr. Hendra as the new Director of Certificated Human Resources. Mr. Hendra earned his bachelor's degree from Cal State San Bernardino and his master's degree from National University. Mr. Hendra started his career in education in 2001, later joining Palm Springs Unified in 2012 as an assistant principal at Palm Springs High. He later became the principal of MSJ in 2017, later returning as a principal of Palm Springs High in 2018. During his tenure, Mr. Hendra has developed an outstanding reputation for building very positive relationships and motivating students and staff alike towards success. Mr. Hendra has also done a great job as an integral member of our district recruitment team, hiring highly qualified teachers into our ranks from numerous local and national job fairs. As the board is aware, in addition to the standard HR responsibilities, Mr. Hendra will have added emphasis on employee recruitment, retention, and leadership development as outlined in the modified job description within this evening's board agenda. Additionally, it is important to note that Mr. Hendra will be performing a bit of double duty, doing director assigned duties, as well as remain assigned as a principal of Palm Springs High as we initiate a comprehensive recruitment for a quality principal over the next few months. With that said, congratulations, Mr. Hendra. Any comments you'd like to share with the superintendent and board, and anybody you'd like to recognize this evening?
First, thank you to the board for this opportunity to further my career and things that I'm passionate about, recruiting and making sure that we take some of our classified employees and make them into management teachers and have them what they want to do. Dr. Sweezy, thank you for this opportunity in cabinet. I really enjoy working for Palm Springs Unified School District. I can't imagine being anywhere else, and this is where I want to build and make sure that we're stronger. So thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up Mr. Brad Sauer. So we're also very pleased to recommend Mr. Brad Sauer as the new Director of Certificated Human Resources. Mr. Sauer earned his bachelor's degree from Southern Illinois University and his master's degree from Azusa Pacific. Mr. Sauer has started his career in education in 2000, later joining Palm Springs Unified in 2004 as an assistant principal at James Workman Middle School. Mr. Sauer was later promoted to principal at Workman in 2008. During his tenure, Mr. Sauer has done an outstanding job running a highly organized and successful academic program. In addition to being a highly successful principal, Mr. Sauer has been an integral member of our certificated negotiations team for several years. His knowledge of the negotiations process, as well as his understanding of the collective bargaining agreement, will make him a valuable member of our HR team. As the board is also aware, in addition to the standard HR responsibilities, Mr. Sauer will have an added emphasis on the oversight, implementation, and compliance of the collective bargaining agreement, as well as the maintenance of positive labor relations, as outlined in the job description within this board, in this evening's board agenda. Additionally, it is also important to note that Mr. Sauer will be performing a bit of double duty as well, doing director assigned duties as well as remain assigned as a principal of James Workman as we initiate the comprehensive recruitment for a quality principal over the next few months. So congratulations, Mr. Sauer. Anything you'd like to share with the board and superintendent? Anybody you'd like to recognize this evening?
Thank you, Dr. Signore. I'd like to start by thanking Cabinet for this opportunity. Dr. Sweezy and Cabinet, I appreciate it. To the board, as I spoke earlier, I know many of you from many years at James Workman. I look forward to my new role in HR. It has been a great journey at James Workman. I'd like to recognize some of my staff members and former students that are here tonight. It's going to be bittersweet, but I think I can serve the district in a great position here in HR. I also would like to recognize my husband, Ryan Saunders, for his support as well. Thank you.
Next, if I call up Mr. David Beshear. We are also very pleased to recommend Mr. David Beshear as the new Director of State and Federal Programs. Mr. Beshear earned his bachelor's degree from Columbia College in Missouri and his master's degree from Cal State San Bernardino. Over his 30-plus years in education, Mr. Beshear has served as a teacher, school site principal, coordinator, and director. While serving as a director for the San Mateo County Office of Education, Mr. Beshear provided guidance and support to numerous Bay Area school districts with school plans, data analysis, and budget implementation. In his current role as a coordinator for the UC Berkeley School of Education, Mr. Beshear supports several Bay Area counties with support on grant funding connected to leadership and coaching programs. We are confident that Mr. Beshear's experience will make him an excellent addition to our educational services team. Congratulations, Mr. Beshear. Anything you'd like to share with the superintendent and board, and anybody you'd like to recognize tonight?
President Wood, members of the board, Superintendent Sweezy, cabinet members. I'm so excited to be joining the board. As I said in closed session, what drew me to this position is the equity work that's happening in the district, and I'm very excited to continue my efforts along with the district in that. And so I'm excited to get started. And actually, your comments, President Wood, related to our public comments. I'm excited that we have members of the community who are interested in the work of the district. My opportunity for this as several people already know, what brought me to the desert is my partner Lucas and the rhinos at the Living Desert. So you guys have about 2 months to get your tickets ready to go see them. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Miss Amanda Mandy Gonzalez, come on up. We are very pleased to recommend Ms. Mandy Gonzalez as the new principal for Della Lindley Elementary. Ms. Gonzalez earned her bachelor's degree from Cal State San Bernardino and her master's degree from the University of Phoenix. She started her career with Palm Springs Unified in 2000. During her career in our district, Ms. Gonzalez has been a teacher, ELD teacher, a site coach, and teacher on special assignment. In 2018, she was promoted to the position of coordinator of English learner programs, where she currently serves now. In addition to doing an excellent job with the oversight of English learner programs district-wide, Ms. Gonzalez has demonstrated outstanding leadership with our Mission Graduate Program. Ms. Gonzalez's professionalism and expertise has earned her the admiration and respect of teachers and administrators district-wide, and we are confident she will do an outstanding job as a new principal for Della Lindley. Congratulations, Ms. Gonzalez. Anything you'd like to share with the board and the superintendent? Anybody you'd like to recognize?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sweezy, Dr. Kovac, Dr. Murray, Dr. Senior A, and thank you to the Board of Education. I'm super excited for this opportunity. Thank you to my husband, my kids, Eric and Tuna. We've been work partners forever, so this is really exciting. So excited to go to Della Lindley and work with such a wonderful staff. I'd like to say a little something in Spanish too. Estoy muy agradecida para servir la comunidad de Mil Palmas. And so I think it's going to be a wonderful next step. And like Mr. Hendra said, I wouldn't want to work anywhere else but Palm Springs Unified. So thank you so much.
Congratulations. Next, Ms. Callista Combs. It also gives me great pleasure to recommend to the board Ms. Callista Combs as the new coordinator for career and technical education. Ms. Combs has a bachelor's degree from Cal State San Bernardino, as well as a master's degree from Walden University. She also possesses a California Career and Technical Education credential with the following designated subjects: Education, Child Development and Family Services, Business and Finance, Health Science and Medical Technology, Marketing, Sales, and Services. Currently, Ms. Combs is the program lead teacher for the Amazon Logistics and Business Management program for the San Bernardino City Schools. This program is the first in the nation, partnering with Amazon.com. We are confident Ms. Combs will be an excellent addition to our district. As her current supervisor at Cajon High School says, Callista exemplifies the importance of making a difference in the lives of students. Congratulations, Ms. Combs. Anything you'd like to share with the superintendent board? Anybody you'd like to recognize?
Thank you, Dr. Signoret. President Wood, Superintendent Sweezy and the cabinet, and to the community here, thank you so much for this opportunity. I love the inclusive nature of Palm Springs Unified School District. It is absolutely amazing and something that I hold in my heart. It's not only in my practice of work. So I am very happy to be joining a community of people that are involved in a board that supports them. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you to my mom and dad who have my kids. Thank you.
I think that was a YouTube shout out, right? Is that was? Okay. All right. Next, I'd like to ask Mr. Gustavo Ochoa. Also very pleased to recommend Mr. Gustavo Ochoa as the new assistant principal for Nellie Kaufman Middle School. Mr. Ochoa earned his bachelor's degree from Cal State Fullerton and his master's degree from Chapman University. He started his career with Palm Springs Unified in 2014 as a counselor at Raymond Cree Middle School. During his career, he has served in several leadership roles, including administrator designee and summer school principal. Mr. Ochoa has extensive experience with counseling and social emotional learning strategies, and he has been a guest presenter on related topics at conferences across the country. We are confident he'll be an excellent addition to the Nellie Kaufman administrative team. Congratulations, Mr. Ochoa. Anything you'd like to share with the superintendent and the board? And anybody you'd like to recognize?
Thank you, Dr. Signoret, and thank you to the board for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Sweezy and cabinet. I have a lot of people to thank. I did not get here alone, so if you just bear with me. I have to thank, first and foremost, Palm Springs Unified. It's a privilege to serve Palm Springs Unified, and it's a gift to serve our students. So I'm so honored. And I have to thank everyone that helped me get here. My school site, Raymond Cree, I'm leaving a wonderful school, but I'm happy to go on to Nellie Kaufman and work alongside their team. And I also have to thank my parents who are here in the audience. So thank you. They're the best part about me. So thank you. And my partner, and I'm just, I think I'll stop. And Mr. Merez, who's not here, I have to thank my friends who are not here, Mr. Merez and Marisol, my co-partner, and Consuelo, and everyone here really that's lent a helping hand to me when I needed it. So thank you all, and I look forward to doing great things at Nellie Kaufman alongside Dr. Demick. So thank you.
Okay, we're almost there. One more. If I could have Jezebel Cansino. Jezebel, come on up. We are also very pleased to recommend to the board Ms. Jezebel Cansino as a new coordinator of wellness and marketing. Ms. Cansino earned her bachelor's degree from Cal State San Bernardino, where she completed the Individualized Supervised Practice Pathways Internship Program in July of 2021. Ms. Cansino's experience includes designing meals based on the nutrition care process, recipe and ingredient forecasting, and determining food costs. She has experience on providing training on cafeteria safety protocols and has prepared informational material on healthy living. We are confident that Ms. Cansino's background qualifies her to be an excellent choice to coordinate the district's wellness policy and oversee nutrition education services for students district-wide. Congratulations, Ms. Cansino. Anything you'd like to share with the superintendent board? And anybody you'd like to recognize?
Okay, I'm going to lower this a little bit. So thank you all so much for this opportunity, this amazing career opportunity. I want to also thank my supervisors in the nutrition services, my husband and my family for their continuous support. Nutrition is my passion, and so I can't wait to serve our students through nutrition and just better support their success and learning. I'm very eager to do that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. That concludes our introductions.
Thank you, and congratulations to each and every one of you. What an amazing group. We're so proud to have you all with us. So congratulations and welcome. All right, and I'm going to use glasses, sorry. So can I get a motion to approve the following employment agreements? Employment agreement with Brian Hendra, Director, Certificated Human Resources, Recruitment, Retention, and Leadership, Salary Schedule 223, Column 10, Step 21, effective 9/15/2021. And employment agreement with Brad Sauer, Director, Certificated Human Resources, Labor Relations, Salary Schedule 223, Column 10, Step 21, effective 9/15/2021. And employment agreement with David Beshear, Director, State and Federal Programs, Salary Schedule 223, Column 10, Step 11, effective 9/15/2021. Employment agreement with Callista Combs, Coordinator of Career and Technical Education, Salary Schedule 223, Column 4, Step 1, effective date still to be determined. Employment agreement with Gustavo Ochoa, Assistant Principal, Nellie Kaufman Middle School, Salary Schedule 202, Column 1, Step 1, effective 9/15/2021. And employment agreement with Jezebel Cansino, Coordinator, Wellness and Marketing, Salary Schedule 17, Range 17, Step 1, effective 9/15/2021. May I get a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. In a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now, one more. Can I get a motion to approve employment agreement with Amanda Gonzalez, Principal, Della S. Lindley Elementary School, Salary Schedule 212, Column 2, Step 21, effective 9/15/2021.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those abstaining?
I abstain.
Thank you. Motion passes. All right. Now, we're going to move on to item 12B, approval of the unaudited actuals for fiscal year 2020 to 2021 OE6. And I believe we're, sorry? Oh. Oh yeah, this is where everybody leaves because now your part is done. Congratulations again, everybody. You don't have to leave. Yeah. Thank you. Bye, Grandma. Kind of anticlimactic now, isn't it, Brian?
It really is. I was hoping for at least one or two to hang out, but
Or maybe
no,
somebody new to come in just for your part.
no such luck. Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Before I get started, and first off, traditionally and historically, usually with every presentation involving fiscal services and our SACS report, I want to take the opportunity to thank Peter Van Buskirk, our Director of Fiscal Services, and his team for putting together the SACS report for our unaudited actuals for the 2021 fiscal year. He is always so professional in the work he does, and his team does a great job supporting the students of our district, and it's truly a pleasure, and I feel blessed working with not only Peter, but the entire business services leadership team on a daily basis. They truly do a great job.
Does he want to recognize anybody? Good. Okay.
All right. As you can see, we are asking that you approve resolution number 2122-70 tonight, the unaudited actuals for the previous fiscal year. In previous years, we embedded the GAN limit resolution into this presentation. Last year, we separated out the GAN limit resolution from the unaudited actuals presentation, and you approved our GAN limit pro rata or pro forma calculation separately. We'll be doing the same thing this evening. So tonight, the GAN limit resolution is resolution 2122-69. On tonight's agenda, the unaudited actuals resolution appears on the agenda at 12B, and the GAN limit is item 12D. Lastly, item 12C on tonight's agenda, adoption of resolution 2122-70, adoption of appropriations due to the reconciliation of the estimated actuals to the unaudited actuals ending fund balances for fiscal year 2021 will include data reflected in the first interim report that we will present to you in December. As you can see on slide 3, the unaudited actuals essentially turns our best estimates for the financial picture in 2021 into a current reality. Another way to look at tonight's presentation is that the presentation really boils down to one thing, and that is comparing what we actually spent last year to what we had budgeted to spend last fiscal year. All of the funds that you see here listed on slide 4 are summarized in the SACS report and in this presentation. As a reminder to the board, the first fund that you see listed there, Fund 01, is really a combination of two funds, Fund 03, which is our unrestricted general fund, and Fund 06, our restricted general fund. All of the calculations listed here on slide 5 are also included in the SACS report that we presented. Here on slide 6, you can see the first fund that we have listed is Fund 03, and that's our unrestricted general fund. As you can see from our estimate in June to our final accounting in August, the ending fund balance increased over $13 million. This is due to the impact of the pandemic on our district and our programs. This is the fund, as the board knows, that we primarily use to determine adjustments to employee compensation, since about 68% of all employees are paid from this single fund. Our restricted general fund, Fund 06, decreased about $9.1 million from our estimate in June. Oops. The difference is negative this year because the CDE, or the California Department of Education, changed the CARES Act resources from ending fund balances to unreceived revenue. We can only claim the revenue we spent by June 30th, 2021. On slide number 8 is our Student Activity Special Revenue Fund. Fund 08 is a brand new governmental fund that is new to this report. I haven't presented the ASB fund to you in the past. A little ahead of myself, I apologize. Districts like ours had to enter values for closing the books, We had not made any estimates for ASBs or, in the case of Desert Hot Springs High School, USBs for the estimated actuals in June. Going forward, these balances will be maintained monthly, and they will appear on all of our SACS reports moving forward. However, after closing the books on all ASB USB funds, a balance of almost 1.5 million, and remember that's over all middle and high schools, will carry over into the 21-22 school year. Next up is slide 9, or Fund 9 rather. It's our charter school fund. You can see that Cielo Vista Charter spent almost $2 million less than what they estimated spending through June of last year. The difference in carryover or fund balance is due to the 4,000s and 5,000s, which are materials and supplies and contracts that were accurately accounted for at closing compared to the estimated actuals. For Fund 11, that's our adult education fund. The same condition exists with that. For Fund 12 is our child development fund. The ending fund balance increased only slightly from our June estimate. Slide 12 is our nutrition services fund, or Fund 13. Our ending fund balance increased about $5.2 million from our projection in June. This ending fund balance is a direct result of the volume of meals served during the closure and very effective cost management over the last year. In addition, Stephanie Bruce and her team did a tremendous job taking advantage of USDA waivers that were put in place last spring. Fund 17 is our special reserve fund for non-capital projects, which reflects a decrease of about $77,000 from what we had planned on in June. This decrease is due to booked actual interest, which was lower than what we expected. Fund 21 is one of our capital funds. It increased about $1.3 million from our estimate in June. Remember, these funds, these are funds that were voter approved and have been drawn down. In other words, bonds have been sold to create the funds in this fund. Julie and her facilities team coordinate with you, as you know, at the facility study sessions on how to spend these funds. Slide 25, or Fund 25 rather, is another capital projects fund. At closing, it came in about $2.4 million higher than we estimated in June, and this increase almost entirely reflects funds that were encumbered for projects but not yet spent. Fund 35 is our county school facility fund, another capital funds project. It had a zero balance and no difference between estimated actuals and unaudited actuals. Fund 40 is our special reserve for capital projects, another capital projects fund. It ended $1.7 million more than what was estimated in June. And as you can see from the description, we acquire funds through city redevelopment, reimbursements, and energy conservation programs. The funds are primarily spent on capital improvement projects, facilities lease payments, technology upgrades, classroom furniture upgrades, and energy conservation programs. Here on slide 18 is our Fund 51, the Bond Interest and Redemption Fund, and that ended about $10.6 million more from our estimate in June. And as you can see from the description, the money comes in from property taxes and is managed through RCOE to repay bond obligations. It's more because we get our data from the county treasurer. It has to do with property tax values, and there's always variability, and this is only updated once a year, and that's when we report it to you. The last fund listed here, as you can see, is Fund 67. In the SACS report, it actually includes Fund 67, 68, and 69. These funds ended $540,000 higher than we estimated in June, and that was due to workers' comp self-funding accruals, and property and liability expenses were less than was projected by our advisor, which is Keenan and Associates. Okay, so if we go back up to Fundo III, it's important to go back to this first fund listed because this is the main fund, as I shared with the board previously, for all things truly discretionary. As I shared with you earlier, from that $47 million figure from August comes several things: school site carryover, program carryover, LCAP fund balance and carryover, and most importantly to me, the 3% minimum statutory reserve. These carryovers must be treated as one-time funds and used with that in mind as we move forward. Here on slide 21, taking a closer look at Fundo III, our restricted general fund revenues were $379,000 higher than our estimate in June, and that was totaling $250,552,695. Expenditures, especially in the 4,000 object code, which are materials and supplies, were $11,467,610 less than our estimates in June. And again, just a reminder, in June, we do anticipate and we do plan on all of those funds being spent. It's during this time in the summer when we actually determine whether or not we spent what we said we were going to spend. Looking only at our 2021 expenditures versus revenues, you can see we ended with $11,846,265 to the positive. So tonight, what we're bringing to you is, again, Resolution 2022-70, the adoption of appropriations due to the reconciliation of the estimated actuals to the unaudited ending fund balances for the fiscal year 2021. So all of the carryover funds that were presented to you from all of the funds listed now will be rolled into the 21-22 fiscal year, and that combined with the 21-22 budget will be reflected for the first time for you at the first interim presentation, which by law has to be completed by December 15th. So the first, or actually the only board meeting in December, is when we will present that information to you at that time. Okay.
If we add all that differences together, so there's a little over $29 million more in our budget? Is that what you're saying?
If we go back to slide 21, is that the fund you were or the slide you were referring to?
I'm referring actually to the resolution. It says that the difference is of $29,493,054.
Yes.
So that's how much more money we ended up with.
Correct.
Because it wasn't spent for one reason or another.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And a lot of that, yes, and the pandemic certainly had a major impact on it, like it did last year as well.
Yep, that's what I thought. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? Okay. All right, thank you. Under 12B, can I get a motion to approve 12B, the approval of unaudited actuals for fiscal year 2020, 2021, subject to OE 6?
Move for approval.
May we get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And now 12C, adoption of resolution number 2021-2022-70, adoption of the appropriations due to the reconciliation of the estimated actuals to the unaudited actuals, ending fund balances for fiscal year 2020, 2021, subject to OE 6. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move for approval.
Thank you. And a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Finally, in 12D, adoption of resolution number 2021-2022-69, adoption of the GAN limit, subject to OE6. Can I get a motion to approve? Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Were there any opposed? No. Okay. All righty. 12E, approval of compromise and release agreement number 2122-02 between parents and district dated August 28th, 2021. May I get a motion?
Move for approval?
Thank you. In a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. And 12F, adoption of resolution 2021-2022-71, public textbook and instructional materials compliance for the fiscal year 2021-2022, OE10. May I get a motion?
Move.
Thank you. In a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 12G, approval of proclamation of Attendance Awareness Month, September 2021, subject to OE10. May I get a motion?
Move for approval?
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passes. And next, we're going to do the approval of proclamation for National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, September 2021, OE10. Dr. Kovacs.
Yes, so September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and we have a proclamation this evening, and I just want to refer to the slide that we have projected here and say a few words about that. So if you or anyone you know are having thoughts of suicide, please call 911 or a suicide prevention hotline, such as Riverside County Mental Health. There's a 24-hour hotline. Desert Regional Medical Center, also our National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and there's also a ability to text hello to 741-741 to text with a crisis counselor. And please know that in Palm Springs Unified School District, we offer mental health support referrals online for families with Medi-Cal and via Care Solas for all other insurance. And I really want to share that for our students, if you are having thoughts of suicide or needs any support in that area, please talk to any school employee or any trusted adult. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, may we get a motion, please?
I'll move that.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, 12I. I'm sorry. 12I through K, approval of new job descriptions, OE 4.7, Coordinator of Educational Technology, Director of Certificated Human Resources Labor Relations, and Director of Certificated Human Resources Recruitment, Retention, and Leadership. May I get a motion to approve items 12I through 12K?
Move for approval?
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. All right, next we have the superintendent's consent items, and we're going to look at items 13A through 13G. Can I get a motion to approve those items?
I'll move that.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Now, board consent items. 14A. Can I get a motion to approve the board meeting minutes from August 24th, 2021?
Move for approval?
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Now, information, 15A. First reading of revisions to Board Policy BP and Administrative Regulation AR 6158, Independent Studies, OE 10. And now, item 16, suggestions for future agendas. What you got? Nothing?
I don't have any items for future agendas, but are we going to get back to school site visits by any chance coming up? Okay. just let us know.
Yep, definitely. We already have some great ideas about where we can go, and Erica's gonna find some dates probably in October.
Okay, thank you.
And we have the upcoming legislative breakfast.
Yes, in fact, Joan was talking to me about the legislative breakfast just the other day. That is coming up the first week of October, and we will need to make a decision pretty soon on if we want to still keep that in person or if we want to switch that to a virtual Zoom event. So
And how will we have that discussion?
I think we could have it right now.
Let's do.
I'm going to be out of town, so if we can do it by Zoom, I'm all for that.
Gotcha. Yeah, our concern was around the eating of food, and so Joan and I had worked on some different ideas about we could possibly have the food in a separate room so people who wanted to eat could go eat, but then that kind of loses the breakfast. We have been seeing lots of events are still going on Zoom, that they are staying in the Zoom setting, and so Joan and I are prepared to do a great legislative breakfast via Zoom if that's what the board would like to do.
I mean, are there other options of waiting or sending everybody
Is there a
up?
drop dead date that we need to know? Is there a date we need to know one way or the other by?
What do you think, Joan?
Probably not. I mean, the people who are coming have it on their calendar, so I don't, I would say we should give, at least decide probably 2 weeks in advance, but we probably don't have to decide much before that. I don't think it really matters in terms of, what it matters about is ordering the food,
All right.
which is in-house, but still, they want a good amount of notice, so.
Sure.
I put that probably in say 3 weeks. Oh, Erica.
And we're getting close to that 3 weeks right
Yeah,
now.
we are,
aren't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have very many RSVPs?
Do we have many?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know exactly how many, but I'm gonna say like 50 probably.
A lot. That's good.
And some of those are our people, but there are quite a few who have RSVP from all the cities and the college and, yeah.
And, I'm
Do we
sorry, they're
feel-
RSVPing with the idea that it's going to be a live event?
Do we have concern, I mean, obviously the food part is a health concern. Are there other, like, given the trend we're seeing in the last week, obviously it's 1 week, are we truly comfortable that we can put on a safe event in person? Or do we really feel like, this is probably more risk than we're willing to take, especially given who's coming?
Yeah, so I think the challenges that Joan and I discussed is people's willingness to put their masks back on. So if we did eating in a separate room and let that be a choice, obviously all of us for staff are wearing masks, but we would have to really enforce that with the public who is coming. If everyone's masked, I believe we can have a safe event. The question is that worth it, to have breakfast in a separate room and not necessarily have the same mingling and talking and eating kind of event? And that's really where we're stuck. So we can do it safely. The question is just what the trade-off is.
I mean, when we consider the folks who are invited, right? We've got obviously leaders from our local cities. We've invited, our representatives, elected representatives, both at the state and federal level, I believe. I just think that, my personal opinion is that given everything that's going on, given the different variants that are emerging and those kinds of things, do we really want to put that group of people, much less any group of people, at risk when we can do it by Zoom? Yeah?
I think that part of it's the optics also, because
Yeah.
we all work in a place where we're all required to wear masks.
Yes.
And when you go to other places, some of them do, some of them don't.
Right.
And here it's a requirement, and we certainly don't want it to turn into being a political thing.
Right. All those things seem to me to argue for Zoom. I don't know about the rest of you, but.
It's fine with me to go Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm good.
okay. And Sergio, are you? Yeah? Okay, great. Thank you. I'm glad we had this conversation, something Joan and I have been talking about, and we can put on a great Zoom event, right, Joan? So it will be a great Zoom legislative breakfast. Yep.
Maybe we can send them all a box of chocolates or something. Lovely.
What did you say?
What'd you say?
What did you say?
I said I think Tim's gonna be doing a lot of it, so Tim's gonna put on a great.
Yeah. Awesome. All righty. Other things that are future agenda oriented? No?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, setting of the next board meeting is on September 28th, 2021, right here. Debrief?
I move we adjourn.
Well, that would be the next one. But I'll take that as a motion. How about a second?
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.